Well, hello you lovely people, we're back with another Dragon's Den reaction video. It's been amazing. I've had people write to me saying, have you stopped making the Dragon's Den reaction videos? When's the next one? Are there going to be more? And I've just had a lot on, but here we go, we're back. But I will say one thing. The last one I made, out of all the people who watched it, more than 60% of the viewers were not subscribed to the channel. Now I'll do you a deal. Quid pro quo Clarice. If I get some more subscribers, I'll make more Dragon's Den videos. If I keep getting more subscribers, I'll make more Dragon's Den videos. Because that's how it works. You scratch my back and I'll ask you to stop doing it because it tickles in between my shoulder blades. Anyway, I haven't watched this. It's called It's Clear That You Haven't Come In For The Money. So we'll be watching it together and we can, well, take the piss. Essentially, that's what these videos are. So here we go. It's clear that you haven't come for the money. Take it away, Dragones. Jamaica!
First to face the dragon.
It'll be something Caribbean because that's how creative the Dragon's Den people are. Something a little bit of reggae in the, you know, why don't you put something reggae in? Because it's going to be Caribbean-ish.
Dragons is Manchester-based Tom Hurst with a taste of the tropics.
There you go.
He believes
he's got a touch of the seaman. He has got a touch of the seaman about him though. He's got like that rear admiral. He has got that rear admiral's sort of touch of. Okay.
could have them over a barrel.
You can't buy that. Oh, we are back with a boom. Continue. Just press the space bar now.
It's a sight for sore eyes, eh?
Pineapple.
It really is. Oh, there you go, though. We've got there. Rockstar. So it's rum, isn't it? It's obviously rum. Looks amazing. I'm already. What's that? I can't quite see what it is, but something with salted caramel. Good lord. Looks amazing. I'm impressed with the branding. Now, obviously, I've got this. It's clear that you haven't come here for the money, you know, in my mind, and it's given me a certain bias over my, you know, reading of what I'm seeing. But the bottles look good. They do look good.
Rum. Let's head to the bar.
And there you go. He called it. It is rum because it was reggae rum.
When times get tough, this entrepreneur has an unusual piece of family history to draw on.
One of the things that I'm always inspired by is the legacy of my great-great-uncle, who was the first man to swim the Channel in 1875. His epitaph was, "Nothing great is easy." So whenever there's difficult moments in the business, I always refer back to that.
Yeah, I bet you do. Not because you necessarily believe it or it inspires you, but rather because you understand that stories sell products. That is the essence of marketing, is storytelling. When Levi Roots walked in there with his guitar and his dreadlocks and his grandmother's chili sauce recipe, Peter Jones was seeing dollars in his eyes. So that's why that is slapped on the front of that bottle. I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't something about it on the back of the bottle. Oh, my I mean, was it his great uncle? I mean, it's getting a little bit tenuous, isn't it? My great uncle's friend once drunk rum with Winston Churchill's great grandmother's babysitter. Stamped on the bottles. But, you know, nothing great is easy. Not strictly true, but it's a tagline, it's a story. You know, we communicate with stories. Our culture is story based. We read stories to our children, but more importantly, we remember things through stories. You know, you can remember fairy stories your parents read you when you were a child, when you were 3 or 4 years old. But, you know, if I asked you what you done last Tuesday, you'd have to think about it, wouldn't you? Unless it was something explicitly, you know, extraordinary, which I maybe it was. But, you know, we remember through stories, and there's nothing better for branding and marketing than people remembering your product.
So will Tom need to summon the spirit of his illustrious forebear in the den?
He's a big lad, isn't he? There's a man who's just been alphaed out of the situation. That fella walked in, he's got to be about, what, 6'4", 6'5", full head of hair. And, you know, Theo's, you know, he's coffin dodging. I love him to death, but he is coffin dodging. I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, we all are. That's life, basically. That's survival, isn't it? Trying not to die. I'm digging myself a deeper hole here, aren't I? A grave, we call them.
Hello, Dragons. My name is Tom Hurst, and I am the founder of ROCKSTAR SPIRITS. I'm here today to ask for £25,000 in return for a 2% equity stake in my business.
So, yeah, he's not there for the money. Hang on. So that's an easy one to work out the value, because 1% would be $250,000. So after that, 1,250,000. He's valuing his business at 1,250,000. Now the markup in liquor, let's call it what it is, alcohol, is pretty good, because, you know, it's easy to make, really. But I'm guessing this is part of the craft thing. We had a lot of craft vodkas, then we had the craft gins, and he's now going craft rum. My guess is he's marketed the hell out of it. I'm impressed with the way it looks. I've only seen a little bit of it, but that's where the money's spent. So I'd assume if he's valuing his business at 1.25 mil, he's got to be having a turnover of around 4 million. And that isn't making a lot of money. You know, that's almost a side hustle at that stage. And it's going to be hard to scale. You will need someone like a Dragon. You'll need someone with impact, because, you know, there's no barrier to entry. Anyone with a few quid can employ a marketing company, knock up some booze, and just put it out there. But get someone who can promote it and get it into the right places, and you might have something that can sell. You know, I mean, you're competing with people like Smirnoff and Coca-Cola. You know, there's the drinks market is big, and it's largely monopolised to an extent, I'd say.
I launched ROCKSTAR Spirits back in November 2018. Since launch, we've released 7 products. The first of those is Pineapple Grenade. This is a 65% overproof rum with
65%. When he says overproof, you know, proof means it will ignite that amount of times out of 100. I don't know what overproof is. I've never heard that before. But if you get a booze that's 70% proof, apparently, if you put a flame to it, it will ignite 70 times out of 100. I might just be guessing there, but, you know, there's always space for a best guess. I'll put some information here to tell you whether I was right, wrong, or whatever. But that is strong booze, regardless.
flavours of pineapple and salted caramel. Then came a grapefruit grenade, a passion fruit grenade, a 2 swallows cherry, and a 2 swallows orange and ginger.
They do look great, though. Let's just take that back. I mean, as a series of bottles of booze, that's what you... I mean, they've done some very good lighting. I wonder whether that was the Dragon's Den crew or him. You know, that's what has been marketed, hasn't it? That, you know, you can imagine all the, you know, some nice old wooden seats and all that, and you know, it's that sort of nicotine and booze and oranges and those browns that when you've had a couple all start sort of glowing, and the world is suddenly a warmer, more forgiving, slightly adventurous place. Obviously, that's not the truth. It ends up shitting the bed and punching your best mate in the throat. But, you know, they look good. They look good.
Grenade, a 2 Swallows cherry and a 2 Swallows orange and ginger. We are currently listed with Sainsbury's, with Majestic Wine, and we've got all the major online guys. Sales are pretty...
That doesn't impress me. That don't impress me much. That doesn't impress me much because we're listed with, well, you will be until you stop selling enough. And the problem I have with craft boozes, they're unlikely to be someone's regular drink. You know, and I'll tell you what, a lot of alcohol sales are targeted at people who've got drink problems. Why wouldn't they be? Just ask yourself, why wouldn't they be? Why would you target the people who drink 2 pints or 2 glasses a week when you can target the people who drink a bottle a day? You know. But yeah, you're listed until it stops selling. So that could be, you know, oh, we're listed, but 6 months down the line you might not be. But the Dragons know all this.
Pretty good. About 14,500 cases to date, which is about 87,000 bottles.
87,000 bottles. So 87. Let's say that a bottle of one of his craft rums is 30 quid. Let's just take it as 80. It's easier. Works out about 3.6 million turnover. So if this is in a year, about 3.6 million turnover. When you look at his valuation of 1.25 million, it's not looking great. It's not looking bad, but it needs to scale. And that is the problem with craft boozes. The competition is too big. The barrier to entry is 0. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means there's a lot of hoops to jump through.
So we're doing pretty well, but we could do even better with the Dragon on board. And I'm going to ask for questions in a moment, but first of all, we'd like to get you to try some rums, hopefully get you a little bit tipsy.
He's really good as well, and I'll tell you why he's really good, because he's not in there giving a script. You can tell, can't you? You know, humans are very, very, very susceptible. We're very sensitive to deception. When someone's lying, you just feel it. You know, he's not in there, my name is John Smith. I invented these craft rums. My great-grandfather swung... You know, he hasn't sat down at home and read it. He knows his business inside out. He is passionate about his business. He's passionate about his product. He's passionate about succeeding. So he's not performing. This isn't theatre, which can be awkward and ugly because most people aren't actors. It's very hard to act. That's why there's not a lot of successful actors in the world. So because he's just actually telling them the truth about his situation and his product, he comes across as really good. You think, I'd like to work with this bloke. At the moment, this picture's going really well. I'd say that. The scalability of the product is still my issue. But if one of the Dragons wanted to get behind that, you know, they've got the necessary contacts, power and filthy lucre to make that happen. So at this stage I'm not counting out an investment.
A range of premium spiced rums is the offering from Tom Hurst.
And all that, he's just saying it there, 65, all that is part of drinking culture, isn't it? When your mates come round and you're like, oi, I tell you, oi, I've got this 65% rum. When you get that out and pour a few shots, you don't want them to go, oh, that's nice. No, you want the effect, you want the excitement, you want the naughtiness, you want it to be like when you were a kid and your mum went out and you had a bit of a banana liqueur that she brought back from her holiday in Spain, in Menorca. And so you want your friends to go, and you all have a laugh, and then you go, go on, and then someone else has one and goes, it's like fire. That's what you want. So all this sort of, what is it? It's acting from the dragons, but that's playing the game, and they'll know that. You know, they're not stupid. They'll know that. He's not bothered by that. He straight away seized upon it. He said to Tuka, 65% proof. Well, he's got this overproof thing. I mean, I don't know enough about booze to know what that is, but yeah, that's a great response. I'll take it back a bit so we can get his full response.
The offering from Tom Hurst.
65% Tuka.
What happened?
Who is seeking £25,000.
There are, look, there's another one. It's not negative, is it? It makes you smile. I smiled when I watched it. I'm guessing you are too. You know, when we see someone like, it's part of booze culture.
In return for a 2% share in his company.
They are. Deborah had hers. Deborah's was slightly more subtle, but it's still like, shit. Good Lord.
We've got a world-class rum and coke, and we have a cocktail that's been created specifically for you guys, the Dragon's Daiquiri.
The drink.
Daiquiri. I'll keep this brief, but I was out in Venezuela when Hugo Chavez was tearing the country apart about 25 years ago. And we were in the hotel room like 8 o'clock in the morning, first morning, and my mate used to, he still does, talks like ODYSEE from Only Fools and Horses. He went, have you ever had a Daiquiri? I went, no, I haven't had a Daiquiri. And he got on the phone to the room service. He went, hello, can you send 30 strawberry Daiquiris up to our room, please? I've had Daiquiris now, yes.
This entrepreneur has already succeeded in mixing things up.
One up.
Cheers.
It's actually an interesting trick when they get him to drink, because it doesn't take a lot of alcohol at that strength to, you know, alcohol does work. It does, you know, help us release, you know, and ease up on our inhibitions, and it does make us a little bit, what would you say, a little bit easier, a little bit casual with our money, shall we say. You know, who hasn't got drunk here and woken up in the morning thinking, oh, I only went out for 2 beers, I've spent the old month's money. I've spent the missus' holiday money.
You enjoy the rum, guys.
But will Tej Lalvani be stirred and not shaken by his business?
I mean, the marketing, the branding, is good. You know, they stand out. I'll tell you a little interesting story about Angostura Bitters. I'll put a picture on the screen there. Angostura Bitters it's actually poisonous, but so's alcohol, so no real dramas. But Angostura Bitters is an additive in many cocktails. Like I like an old fashioned. It's a classic cocktail. It's a bit of a orange peel, lump of sugar, a nice bourbon I like, and a drop of Angosturas. But when it was 2 brothers who had it made, and when they had the labels printed up, the labels were actually an inch, I think something like an inch too big. But you know, this was going back, you know, nearly a century. So they just were like, well, it's release date today. Let's just put them on, and for the next batch we'll get them right. But Angostura Bitters isn't that easy to remember. But when you've got a label on a bottle that sticks over the bottle, the main bit of the bottle by an inch, like that photograph there, that is easy to remember. And so they realised that this was actually a very lucky bit of branding. And to this day, Angostura Bitters continues to have a label that's too big for the bottle, and it gets all squashed up and crumpled up around the top, and it's you know, there's no other bitters that people know like Angostura, and I would say it's because of that bad bit of labelling. And my point being, those, let's have a look at them,
And not shaken by his business.
those will be remembered. You know, those, when you go to a bar, will be remembered. When you go to another bar a couple of weeks later or that afternoon, you see them again, you know, you'll remember them. Where a lot of these craft boozes, you know, they go with the look of the moment, the aesthetic of the time, and then it all just becomes a bit of a blur. But these stand out, they're kind of classy, they're memorable, and that is at the heart of branding.
Tom, hi.
Hi.
So, the rum market's had a lot of growth recently. What's really different about yours?
Well, with mine, it's basically following that premiumisation trend that we've seen in craft beer and gin of better quality ingredients. So we use incredibly high quality spirit. We source it from the Diamond Distillery in Guyana.
Well, look, I'm not much of a cocktail.
That was kind of a load of rubbish. He could have done better, but it's interesting that he says we source it from the Diamond Distillery in Ghana. That will be written on boxes and written on, you know, back of bottles and things like that. Again, it's another story element, but that was a bit weak of him, really. There, he should have played up on that more. He should have explained the other ingredients. We source our alcohol for our rum from here, but we source this. What makes the flavourings? Where do we get this from? You know, give the story to each ingredient, and then you're starting to build a fuller picture of what distinguishes it from the others. Because that is the craft beer trick, isn't it? They don't just, you know, they pretend not to just make this stuff in a big old factory. You know, they give the idea it's just like Papa used to make it, you know. And I don't think he worked that as well as he could.
Bill drinker, but this is pretty good.
Okay.
So well done.
Hello there, I've had so many problems getting this video uploaded, so it's going to get a little bit weird now. And you've seen this before in a Dragon's Den video, and there's a little bit more later. So we just take the knocks and get a bit of a laugh out of them, but it's only about 30 seconds. But if you're watching this video, I'm more surprised than you are, whatever that means.
Okay, Tom, that's very nice. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. Have you got a business?
I've got a business.
Let's go through the numbers.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting, because at the moment I'm not convinced with the numbers, but I am convinced with the product.
So, year 1 6-month period 66,000 turnover and a break even on net.
Terrible.
Year 2, which is the first full year of trading, 360,000 turnover, 125,000 net.
Terrible.
Year 3 will be 720,000 turnover and 250,000 net.
Will be.
Moving into year 4, that will be 1.4.
I'm going to stop you because...
Yeah, amazing. You know, what he's got proof of is not great. But as soon as it gets into the world of fantasy, the world of prediction, it suddenly goes into the millions. If you'd have left him talking, in about 5 minutes, it'd have been like, year 25, 4 billion.
Okay. So when I see doubling up of numbers,
basically,
right, I can carry that going on myself.
Sure.
And you're just going to double up every year. Any plans how you're going to do that?
We got double the amount of SKUs this year than we had last year, and we've also...
Yeah, but more products doesn't necessarily mean more revenue. More products can often mean more costs. It's something interesting. You know, companies can grow too quickly. It's an interesting thing. Companies always say, yeah, look, our revenue's up, our turnover's up, we've got more staff in. You've got more problems in, you've got more potential problems in, you've got a higher burn rate. You know, it costs money just to keep a business going. Regardless of if you're selling anything or not, you're still paying your SEO, you're still paying your staff, you're still paying your marketing, you know, everything still needs paying for, even right down to little things like web hosting and everything. So, you know, growing is, you know, we all want to grow, but growing too fast has ended more than a few businesses. And more than a few businesses that didn't need to do that.
Added Sainsbury's, and we've done 4,500 cases with Sainsbury's officially since February.
Sure. Excellent. Okay.
Now that's pretty good. 4,500. How many did he say was in those? I can't remember. But the numbers aren't great at the moment.
Good, thank you.
With shelf space in the supermarkets already secured and healthy predictions for future growth, Tom's pitch is off to a smooth start. But will his packaging pass muster with a design-aware Deborah Meaden?
I think they will. I think they will be selected. I think people who aren't even into rum would maybe give one of them a punt. Interestingly, they look like a collection, but they've also got there's also something that separates each of them, and that's that's hard to pull off, because you want them as a collection so that if someone buys one, oh, I really like that spiced mango and whatever, I'm going to try their shark's bum and lemonade flavour, you know. So because you know they're a group, but also you don't want one to turn someone off and then it turn them off all of them. So to be distinct as individual drinks, but also be part of a collective is, I think he's managed that. See what Deborah thinks. And I also like the stumpy bottle. I mean, Absolute done it, didn't they? I mean, a lot of the craft stuff has changed the shapes of the bottles. I'd be tempted to go for like one of those olive oil, long, thin ones with the little snub nose on it. But the sort of fat bottom and little top, I mean, he's almost designed it based on his own body shape. Stop.
I think your branding's lovely.
There you go.
These illustrations and labels, they look very high quality.
Yep.
You know, so I'm expecting the drink in it to be lovely.
Yeah, that's the goal, to make it pretty enough to jump off the shelf and then taste good enough to repeat purchase and then sort of buy.
I can't say for sure, but it looks like there might be some kind of embossing going on there as well. There seems to be a bit of 3 dimensions going on with those labels. Who knows?
The rest of the range, basically.
Tom, can I just say, you clearly know what you're doing, which is quite refreshing and quite a joy to listen to. But what's
You're drunk.
your background?
So my background is 22 years in sales and 20 of those in the drinks industry. So I've kind of...
There you go. There you go. That's why he knows what he's doing. So this is interesting. He's just dropped his bomb, and he's a salesman, and he's proven it. A lot of people, you see a lot of them, they walk in here and they go, I do this, we've done this, we've turned over this, He's left that. He's left this till this point. Now, yeah, they might have edited it different, but I think he left this till here. 20 years in sales, and I think, 10 years in the booze industry? You know, he's perfectly placed for this product. And he hasn't said it up front and central. He's left the product to do the talking, and now he's backing it up with his own professional curriculum vitae.
I've done this before for other people.
Go 6 years. I would have said 5, but there you go. And that can be done. I think he's going to get an investment here. I think he's going to get an investment. I think he might get 2 or 3. I mean, it's all good. This is all good. It's convincing. There hasn't been that script. The product's good. Even if one of the dragons doesn't like it, they can't argue with him. He's got more knowledge in the field than them. You know, not only alcohol, but sales. And so, you know, combining them two together, I think they're starting to trust him. And now they're in conversation. You know, it feels like a conversation rather than an inquisition.
Tom's strategic vision has further whetted the dragon's appetite spirit.
You know, you saw that, you know, he lifted his chin up there. You know, when we expose our neck, that is just a sign of strength. You know, Theo's face there, I just dropped it there, you know, he's a happy chappy. He's seeing something here. He can throw a load of money at this and quadruple it in, you know, a matter of years. Yeah, I think this is going to go very well for everyone involved.
And that's...
I mean, this is incredible. You know, very rarely is the Den like this. This feels like an entrepreneur pitching to investors. It doesn't feel like a television program. That could have something to do with the editing, but I'm not going to keep saying that because we all know that. But they're conversing. They're discussing the future of the business. They're discussing strengths. They're discussing potential pitfalls, and that's great. It feels good. You're not cringing. You're not sort of thinking, you know, you're not sort of sensing deception. You're sensing this is how business works, and he'll get money for this.
That's why I'm here today.
I won't bet my channel on it, but I'll bet my Dragon's Den reactions on it.
It's all about that kind of endorsement that you bring to the brand, and then I'll give you a nice chunk of cash when we...
And that the honesty there is incredible. He's not there for the money. The money's pittance. But one of you can endorse this. That's the problem that these craft brands have. I already said it. That's the bit that just sends it to the moon. You know, they'll have parties with celebrities. You know, they'll all get a free bottle to take home in a nice box, probably personalised. You know, all the sort of lifestyle magazines will write lovely, you know, reviews about it. Theo will go out for dinner with someone famous, and it'll be written up in Vanity Fair. You know, proper top-end marketing. Everyone will be buying this. 5 years' time, they'll get out, and they both have made 10 mil.
When we sell to a big company.
I think it's a great product.
Yes.
And I think you've been really sensible in what you've come in here asking for, a low amount of money.
Thank you.
I'm just not the right person for this product, is Sarah's answer.
But being totally honest,
Yep.
my personal ambition is not really to take on investments where I'm more of a passive investor. And it's not an industry that I am an expert or prominent in, so I'm not sure how much I could add.
And again, you know, usually when they give these things, they try and they kind of, you know, soften the blow a bit and then say, so I'm out. But she's just being honest. She's just telling, this is the truth. It's not her industry, and she's not looking for being a passive investor. Yeah, fair enough. I don't think he'll take this as a knock at all. He doesn't want her anyway, for those reasons.
So it's not a one for me today. I won't be investing, and I'm out.
Yeah, that was edited in. That wasn't the response to that comment. I think he said, thank you, Sarah. I hope you enjoyed the drinks.
An unexpected setback for the spirits entrepreneur as a first dragon raises a glass but turns down a deal.
Nah, untrue. Absolutely untrue. Because this went so well, because even the dragons themselves are just thinking about business, they're trying, the Dragon's Den editors and our voiceover man are trying to sculpt some kind of journey, some kind of story, because it isn't really there. They're just working out who's going to buy it and how much for now.
Has Tej Lalvani detected an opportunity to make money from molasses?
I mean, listen to that. Just absolute nonsense. This is just filler now, because the rest of this show is really the people who are interested in investing, how much they're interested in offering. Let's get the deal done. Shake on it, bosh. So, I mean, that was just absurd. What about Tej Lalvani? Is he interested in making money from molasses? What? What? Just filler.
I think the market is a little bit competitive, but I think you've created a good product. And I think above all, you seem to be a great entrepreneur.
Everything about Theo's face says, I want to get involved in this business.
Thank you.
So I'm going to make you an offer.
I wasn't talking about Tej, I was talking about Theo. Theo wants in on this business.
Wow, okay, amazing.
Tej Lalvani, health supremo, vitamin supremo. You know, he's got it going. This is like the Sackler family. He's going to sell them the booze to damage their livers and teeth and rot their brains. Because talking, look at Theo's self-soothing. He's comforting himself. You watch, he's rubbing his leg because he sees Tuka as potential competition here. Because Tuka's got the money, Tuka's got the contacts, and he's having to self-soothe because he how much are you going to donate? Donate! You get them in mind, and they were cheaper. Over time, that started affecting me. Because when more competition, I got in early days with the internet. I was very lucky. I had a friend who knew about the internet, knew about computers when a lot of people didn't. When it was quite hard to build websites, so you didn't have things like Squarespace and what have you, where you could just build a website in an afternoon, where you couldn't just ring up and pay someone to do your SEO and all that. And I wanted to be cheaper, but after a while, I started to be known as the cheap shop. And that has negative connotations. That has negative connotations. So Theo might go for something clever here. If I was Theo, I'd say something like, because what Theo has to do here, I know we haven't got past Deborah yet, but what Theo has to do here, if he wants this business, is have faith in his value. And if I was Theo, I'd say I'll give you all the money, but I want 15%, because what I can give your business that the others can't, which is, that's just guesswork anyway, but, it comes across well, especially combined with that higher price point. If I came round your house and I said, I've got a couple of bottles of wine, what do you want? What one shall I open? This was £2.50 from Tesco's. This was £250 from a wine shop up on the Charing Cross Road. My guess is you're going to say, yeah, I think we'll go for that £250 one. So there is something about value and something about things being cheap that are contradictory to our initial assumptions when buying and selling things, which is what this is. That's what Dragon's Den is. They buy chunks, shares of businesses.
Thank you. Just leaves me. I've been sitting here thinking, do I really want to make £250,000?
So look at that. Look at his hands like that, on his knee, protecting himself, protecting his major arteries, his femoral veins, his femoral arteries. And now he's sort of coming in with this sort of bit of unsure. I guarantee I'll put my channel on this. This is his way of doing that one. Make the bloke think it's not, and then at the last minute just turn it over. Because when you do that to someone, you make what you were going to offer them anyway seem bigger. That's like what a double bluff is, isn't it? Where your mates are having a party, they haven't seen you in 10 years, and you tell them you're going. Yeah, I'll be there. And they tell all their mates, Dangerfield's coming, or whatever your name is. And then you ring up and say, listen, I'm so sorry, but I've been called away at work. I've tried everything to get out of it, and you're like, I really, and your mate on the other end of the phone's like, oh man, I've told everyone you're coming, everyone was really looking forward to you. You're like, yeah, I know. And then you turn up. Now, both instances, the same thing happens. You turn up to the party, but because you've told them you weren't going, the value of you turning up, there's an element of surprise there as well, but the value is increased, even though it's the same thing. And I reckon that's what Theo's doing now. And I'm telling you that because of what he's been doing building up to this. Little things I've seen his face and his body doing.
In 5 years' time, which is what you've...
Now, because I've gibbered all over it, I'm going to take it back so we can hear his pitch from the start. His pitch. See what I said, his pitch? Because I get the feeling he's now working the bloke who's actually making the pitch.
I've been sitting here thinking, do I really want to make £250,000 in 5 years' time? Which is what you've offered me, basically.
That's basically it, yeah.
Which is terrible. Which is terrible for people who are worth like 60, 70 million. Deborah knows, like I know, where this is going. Deborah's already seen it, and I'm sure about this now. And that's what Deborah's face is, someone who thinks, you bastard, you've deliberately waited till last, you've seen us all play our hand, now you're bluffing, and you're going to sweep it out from under us.
I've been more interested in making a lot more money.
There you go.
So I'm thinking I need a relevant stake, and I would give you the backing, support, and my contacts both in the groceries plus the drinks wholesaler market.
This is brilliant. This is perfectly timed. It's perfectly delivered. This is great. I reckon he can ask. You know what? If we had 8 and 6%, I reckon he can get away with 15%. He could ask for 15% for the same amount of money. This is a master stroke. You can learn a lot from this. If you watch the actual episode from the start and see how Theo has worked the whole thing. This is great. This is genius entrepreneurial skills at work.
Which I have. So I'm going to make you an offer.
Okay.
But I would like to give you an offer of £50,000
So more money.
for 10%.
Oh, he's gone for 10. I reckon he could have got more. I reckon he could have gone up to 15. I mean, come on, man. It's Theo all day long.
But actually, that's going to cost you nothing.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to make £12.5 million. You're going to make a hell of a lot more.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. This bloke this man is completely overwhelmed now. You know, that sort of cocky, but in a nice way, strong, confident entrepreneur who's walked in there is now shaking. Theo's just told him he's going to make way more than the pitiful amount of 12.5 million. You're going to join the big boys now. I mean, that face is just like, the eye block's there. Shut your eyes. Don't. If I actually look at what's happening here, I'm not going to be able to cope. The mouth is just anything. Just do something, or if you don't close it like that, your jaw's gonna hit the floor. This is amazing. He can't even look at Theo. Watch that again. It's incredible. Watch the response to Theo. Shuts his eyes, and when he opens them, he's immediately looking at the others because this is too much. Theo has done him up like a kipper here. And it's the best deal, of course. So Theo's not lying to him. He has got the better contacts in this industry. He does want this business more. And that extra couple of percent, I want more of your business because I'm not going to make a couple of mil. We're going to make real money, the kind of money I deal with, mate. Shut your eyes, turn your mouth down, look at the other people. It's incredible. Watch the whole little bit play out.
Going to make a hell of a lot more.
It's doubles all round as Theo Paphitis offers twice the amount of money the entrepreneur.
This is just B-roll. That is not the response that this bloke gave to Theo. We saw this shot earlier.
Is asking for, albeit in return for 5 times more equity than was originally up for grabs. 3 other dragons have offered the £25,000.
If I haven't told you before, B-roll, or sometimes in America called B-reel, is shots, often locked off shots or faces, expressions, things that they shoot after the main bit of shooting to edit in later. And it's a bit problematic with Dragon's Den because they drop in facial responses that weren't the actual response to what happened. But, you work with what you got.
That Tom was originally seeking, with Tej Lalvani and Tuka Suleiman both looking for 8% of his business whilst Deborah Meaden is demanding 6%.
Guess it's down to me now, isn't it?
You could have a chat with the wall.
I'm okay for the wall.
Oh,
That's good.
Prefer to...
Yeah, I don't need to play this theatre. This is just this has been a business meeting.
Look people in the eye, especially when it's money.
Oh, amazing! Let's see that again.
That's good.
Prefer to look people in the eye, especially when it's money.
Amazing. Amazing to say I prefer to look people in the eye when it's money, because he didn't like doing that with Theo.
Thank you, first of all, for the offers. Really, really appreciate it. All fantastic. And I'd love to work with all of you guys. Is there any wiggle room in terms of...
No, this is really bad angle. This is just pride now. You know, you're talking about some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the country. Wiggle room, what? Between 7 and 8%, 10 and 9%? No, it's just pride. Oh, I'm an entrepreneur too. I'm going to try and get less. No, don't make a fool of yourself. This is a terrible... I mean, what he's actually now doing is giving the other dragons more room to make things more complicated for him. And he needn't have done. The answer's Theo.
Equity, if we paid back the 25,000 in year one.
So I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll drop down to 5%.
I mean, what, 1%? Are you really arguing? Are you really humiliating yourself over 1%? I know 1% of 12 million is, you know, quite a lot, but, you know, he's still got 90% of it. Good Lord, this is him at his weakest now, because now he's pretending to be something he's not, and he looks uncomfortable too. Meaden's face there is a bit disappointed.
If you get my
money back in year one.
Yeah.
I'd match that.
Okay.
Theo, please say no.
as I sit here sometimes and say to people, it's not worth walking away for 1%. I would agree with that too. I would say that I would go down to 5%.
There you go. And, you know, that is now half of what the best dragon for this job has offered him, making it now difficult because he's under pressure now.
Theo, I guess your offer is your offer.
Amazing that he knows that. Why does he know that? Why does Theo smile there? Theo's got his hand over his mouth. Theo's got nothing to say about this. You know, he will because he's on a TV show. But isn't it amazing that he went, Theo, I assume your offer's just your offer?
My offer is to make you a lot more money.
That makes sense.
Brilliant.
Right. Tej and Suka, would you guys do a 2-dragon thing, or is that just waters?
No, he's really excuse my French, this is terrible.
They're down too much.
I would do a 2-dragon if we were in for, say, 8%,
Yeah.
4% each. Then you get 2 lots of black books, 2 lots of influencers, 2 lots...
2 lots of hassle, 2 different teams arguing over strategy, aims and objectives. No.
Of everything.
Oh, look at Meaden's face after that. Have a look. It's very quick. I'll see if I can pause it.
2 lots of black books, 2 lots of influencers, 2 lots of everything.
Look at it. Hang on. Fucking hell. Sorry.
We've got several deals together, we work well. So I'm happy to share it with Tuka.
I mean, this, you know, this is the last time I'm going to say it. Theo is the best bloke for this job, and if he doesn't select him, he's probably going to lose out on the chance of a lifetime. Now, we do get other chances in life. We learn from our mistakes. We don't learn from our successes. We earn from our successes, but we learn from our mistakes. So, you know, okay, fair dues. But if he doesn't pick Theo, shocking. That's why this lot are all bartering. This one, oh yeah, I'll drop a percent. I'll work with them for Theo's not.
Hey, I think we've made a decision. Let's do it. Amazing. High five.
Great.
Oh my God.
I think it is amazing, really good. Excellent, I'm ready for a shot.
Oh,
so it's bottoms up for Tom, who heads downstairs with the £25,000 he wanted.
He's got his face tells you everything you need to know. He's going to slowly realise the mistake he's made.
And the backing of a duo of dragons.
Look at the way Tuka's looking at Theo there. He leant round because he knows that Theo was the best bloke for the job.
With the commercial acumen to help his rum business
go down the pan in a matter of years.
Tot up record profits.
I'm excited in the future of the business. 2 dragons.
He doesn't look too excited in the lift.
Both with expertise in
other fields.
And in the big high street arena.
What does that mean? Shops?
Yeah, I couldn't be happier.
He's exceptional, and that's not the rum talking.
I don't see how you could go wrong, cuz you could drink 25 grand worth before you lost your money.
As my great uncle would say, nothing great is easy, and it hasn't been easy, but it has been great. Cheers.
So let's find out what happened to Rockstar Craft Rum. So first of all, I found this. BBC Dragon's Den, Rockstar Spirits rum brand wins investments from Tej Lavani and Tuka Suleiman. It's got some important information on it, i.e. 10th of June 2021, so we can assume that it was filmed for Dragon's Den over 2 years ago. So any accounts that we look at later, the Dragons have been involved for over 2 years. And he started the business, it says down here, in November 2018. So 5 years ago. So the Dragons have been involved for at least 2.5, say 2 years. I think that's realistic. So bear that in mind. And from Company's House is the filleted accounts, aka micro accounts, from Rockstar Spirits as of 1 year ago. And the numbers are just terrible. Terrible. Net assets, 52 grand. You know, this isn't 10 million, this isn't 5 million. You know, this is in 2021, he's gone down in terms of his net assets. This is not good at all. The business isn't doing well. What worries me is there's many reasons why you can put in filleted accounts. There's a few different ones: micro accounts, filleted accounts, abridged accounts. I know that Company's House is trying to change all this, but it's things like your turnover is less than 600 thou, or you're allowed to not show your profit and loss under certain conditions, and those certain conditions tend to be that it ain't doing very well. And just looking at those net assets and current assets minus liabilities, this is not a big business. But anyway, let's see. So I found this on Company Check. From when he set it up, current assets a quid, that's gone up to 370 grand. You know, it's pittance for a company that was turning over, what was it, something in the area of 3 or 4 mil. And net worth 23 grand, 61 grand. 2022 that went down to 52. That they're the net assets we just looked at. You know, current liabilities, total current liabilities, 41 grand, 122 grand, 193 grand. Shocking. Anything else? Their Twitter account has got 538 followers. Now you might think, yeah, but that's just social media. Yeah, but that's social media. That is terrible. For a company that's been going since 2018, you'd expect to drum up those kinds of followers in a matter of months, especially when you've been on Dragon's Den. ROCKSTAR Spirits UK, 11,000 followers, nearly 5,000 posts. It's not great. Now, this I did also see that they'd got some kind of gig in Australia which was worth $250,000, but that's still only 250,000. But it has only been a couple of years with the Dragons. This could go somewhere, but you know, if it hasn't taken off already, if it was in all the supermarkets, if it was in all the online places, I think these things have their day, and if they don't elevate from their day, they don't elevate at all. This is the website. I've just looked at it. Lovely looking website. Lovely. And as soon as I see them selling merch, clothing store, I mean, do you really want the hassle of selling hoodies for 45 quid? Is because that tells me you're not making money with your booze. I mean, that, who knows? Who knows? Maybe this will take off, but as I just said, these things have their day. There's a window of opportunity where it will take off. Otherwise, it sounds like it's had all its places in all the shops. It's had all its marketing. It had its moment on telly. I mean, I suppose we'll see. Let me know in the comments if you've tried some ROCKSTAR Spirits. Let me know if you know anything more about them. I hope you enjoyed this one. Bit of a long one, but it kind of made up for all the ones you didn't see. If you did enjoy this, think about giving us a thumbs up. It really helps. That's why everyone asks for them. And if you're not subscribed, get some of them in and you'll get more of these. Ta-da!
Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte giorno di torno girano, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto Adugino d'amor. Delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto Adugino d'amor.